Hi everyone, Drew here. I just want to give a little update on myself. Um, I don't know what's been going on with me. I've been feeling a lot more tired than I usually am. I've been sleeping more, and today I actually went and checked on the updates of the symptoms because I noticed they're always adding on symptoms. I don't know how it's being done. Maybe they're as people are confirmed. Maybe they ask them and they tell them what their symptoms were. So they just keep updating it. And I see a while ago they add on extreme tiredness or sluggishness. Now I'm not sluggish. I'm just been feeling like really tired and sleepy, and I'm sleeping more than usual. And as I said before, when I sleep too long, my body starts aching and paining. So I've noticed I've been doing that. Um, Today I've been helping my son. This morning I'm helping my son with his remote class because they started it, and I'm falling asleep on him. I'm literally falling asleep on him. I'm falling asleep on my daughter, and it's like I was just cutting up the chicken and some vegetables to make for to prepare everything to cook for dinner. And while I'm standing there, I'm like falling asleep on my feet. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. Um, and I don't know if this is part of this outbreak, but I also saw something up there that I had since Friday, which is the unable to taste things very good. And I noticed this is something that they recently added on, the tasting things. And I haven't really been able to taste my food that well. So, and I see that's a symptom, but usually in my culture, this is something that usually happens when we're like bilious. So I don't know if that's what it is, but who knows? But I strongly doubt I have it because the kids are fine. They're running and jumping, bouncing all over the place, and the missus is fine as well. So I really not sure what this really is. Hopefully this is not what this is. What is not this outbreak, but let's see. Only time will tell. Um, but that's it. So that's all I have to say about myself. We're just gonna go right into this video. It's gonna start right now. Hi everyone, as you can see from that video, I recorded that earlier when I wasn't really feeling that good. Since then, I've slept for about 3 hours, more or less 2.5, and right now I feel pretty much better than then. I'm not tired right now, but I am, let's say, I have this pressure in my head, and but besides that, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not sure where the pressure is from, but it could be from this outbreak or it could not. I honestly don't believe I do. A lot of the things that I'm going through, except for the tiredness all the time, I mean, wanting to sleep, that is the only thing that is different. Usually, when I'm getting a cold, I get a sore throat. Um, you the yeah, and the tasting. I never really. The only time I wasn't able to taste anything was when I had the flu, or it's a word. Sometimes it's a word that we say in my country of birth. Uh, I that happens when I am bilious, which means my bloodstream is full up of toxins, and sometimes I need to do a what's the word I'm looking for? I forgot the word here. A cleansing. I need to do a detox, and sometimes that happens. So I take that as a sign of that I need to do a detox. Um, and and the reason why I don't think that I have anything is because nobody else in the house is feeling like that. My kids, like I said, the only thing they have left now is a cold and stuff like that. Maybe my girl, she doesn't have anything outside of her pet allergies. She doesn't really have anything else. And with this pressure in my head, that could be because I ate less today. Because usually when I'm on a diet, where I eat less food than I usually do. That usually happens to me where I get this pressure in my head for like the first week or two. So that is probably why. I could be. I don't. I'm not sure, but I doubt. I highly doubt that is what it is because no one else seems to be having in the house seems to be having any kind of issues. So now I want to get into today was my son's first day. Started his first day of this remote class, or as they call it, distance classroom, or whatever they want to call it. My son doesn't like it. He prefers to be at school. That's what he prefers to do. He said he's bored. He starts yarning, and there's a ton of videos and stuff to do, and he just gets bored, especially since he's not around his friends. And that's normal, you know. That is normal. And while he's doing it, I keep his sister away from him because she loves to play with him, and then he would get distracted. I have the TV's off, everything, and it's just he keeps asking me when if he's going to school tomorrow, if tomorrow is school, and I have to keep telling him no, because he's 5 and he really doesn't understand, and but he does know of this outbreak, but he truly doesn't understand it. He doesn't comprehend what's really going on. All he knows, he's a kid and he wants to go to school where he can be with his friends and learn the way he's been learning for the last how many years now, ever since he was 4. So for the last year, all almost 2. So for him, it's not easy, and for me, it's not easy too because on the one hand I have to help him with his schoolwork because it's putting a lot of strain on the parents as well. If you have multiple kids, like I do, I have 2. So his sister, she's very energetic. She wants to run around. She wants to play with her brother, especially when he's in the house. And it's hard for me to try and keep her away from him. So I have to literally put her in the high chair or take her to a separate room. But then I can't just leave her in the room by herself. I don't want her to just be here watching the TV while I'm out there with him for hours because he has work from 9 until 2:45. So I'm like, I constantly have to be there helping him. Especially that's what they want us to do, according to the stuff that they sent us, and we have to help him and oversee, make sure. And every time he finishes something, I have to submit them because there's a certain deadline that it has to go in, that it has to be turned in at a certain time. So I have to be there. I have to make sure everything is correct. I also got to help him with certain things. Then he also have his speech therapy, and now the speech therapy is also being done remotely, and usually it's him and one other kid, and he gets to goof around and stuff. Now he's just bored out of his mind, and be trying to help him and then try to keep her away from him and not to just be on the TV for how many hours it may be. It's not easy, but I'm handling it. Now, New York right now, news for New York. New York now has 20,875 confirmed cases of this outbreak. That is a jump from, I think, a day before when it was over 1,600. So that's a big jump. I'm going to read here. So it's, yes, 20,875 total cases in New York, 157 deaths from this outbreak in the state, 12,305 cases in New York City, 2,849 cases in Westchester County, 2,442 cases in Nassau, 1,458 in Suffolk, 592 in Rockland, 389 in Orange, and 127 in Albany County. 1,914 cases in New Jersey with 21 deaths. 415 cases in Connecticut with 10 deaths. Here in New York, we also have, I believe, 44 firefighters or FDNY employees who has been confirmed, and 129 NYPD employees, officers, and I think some are officers and some of them were just people that work at the stations. Have been confirmed. The mayor said that if people don't start to listen, that he might have to implement stricter rules. He said even if you are family, you should stay away. Now, again, I know before I said I was leaning more on what they're doing. I mean, I was leaning in the middle. First, I was on the side of the people who's like, this is just overblown. Then I was on the side of them. Then I was just in the middle. Now I'm back to the people, because with this right here, what he's talking about, and I think the media has a lot to do with this. Excuse me there. Have a lot to do with this, because I'm seeing, first of all, I want to acknowledge there is people who are not obeying it, or, I mean, it's not a law or nothing, but who are not abiding by the recommendation of staying 6 feet away. Over the weekend, we saw the videos, especially from all the news outlets. I will actually play a clip right now.
Tonight, concerned not everyone is listening. Louisiana, Ohio, and we've just learned now, Delaware, among 9 states shutting down non-essential businesses. Nearly 100 million people told to stay indoors. New York State tonight with more than 15,000 confirmed cases. The governor upset after seeing firsthand groups of people in New York City parks, how the mayor plans to crack down.
Tonight, officials telling Americans they can help fight virus by using social distancing. But images from around the country show some are ignoring the warning. Crowded beaches in California, boat parties in Florida, and this video taken yesterday showing a crowded New York City park.
I don't know what I'm saying that people don't get. I'm normally accused of being overly blunt and direct. And I take that. It's true. I don't know what they're not understanding. This is not life as usual.
As you can see from that clip, it's not just here in New York. It's basically all over the country. You see in Florida, people on the beaches and stuff like that. There was even in Florida City, I believe, there was a councilman who went off on the mayor because she's not doing what's right. What's right for the people who voted for her. The power company turned off the power and forced the people to pay their bills, even if it was just a little bit amount. They were forcing them, which might be, as the councilman was saying, the last monies they had. And the mayor she got up and just walked and said she is in recess, something that he said she wasn't allowed to do, but she went ahead and did it anyway.
Can we do better? There's always things that pop up that we can do better on, and I call the question.
I'm sorry, that's not how this works. We each have an opportunity to speak 5 minutes.
I thought we did.
Yeah, the question's been called.
I'm sorry. That's not how calling the question works. You need a second and you need to vote on it.
Then I have a second for calling the question.
Are you telling me that you're going to keep me from talking right now?
You've talked all evening.
Look here. You're calling me disrespectful because I've interrupted people, but this gentleman has turned off people's lights in the middle of a global health pandemic. That's what that gentleman did.
Point of order.
And you think I'm disrespectful for interrupting?
Point of order.
This gentleman has had the ability to do any number of things. We could have banned large gatherings. We could have closed the beach. We could have put a moratorium on utility shutoffs.
I recessed.
Also not within your power, and the attorney has held that that's true.
I recessed the meeting.
You came up with new rules at the beginning of the meeting, and then you didn't even want to follow the rules that you came up with.
And you took advantage.
This is a banana republic is what you're turning this place into with your so-called leadership.
Does a recess mean that we will be...
Yes.
Camera on that?
I don't care anything about this.
Camera on that?
I don't care anything about this.
Does
We should have been talking about this last week.
Can we...
We cut off people's utilities this week and made them pay what could have been their last check to us to turn their lights on in a global health pandemic. But you don't care about that and you didn't want to meet. But every other year you go around and beg people for their votes.
so far from what I've read, nothing was even done. Nothing still wasn't done. The video's out there. You can look it up. I did have a link of it. I just can't find it right now. I tried to find it, but I have it on my YouTube page. I'll put a link down to the video in the description. You can go check it out. But he was totally right. I didn't like that he actually went and apologized, which I guess, he has to be politically right and go ahead and say, he shouldn't have that an outburst. But he was right, because in the report, it was also saying that nothing still wasn't done, and still thousands of people are still coming through and going and use the beach. And it's crazy how in this whole epidemic that's going on, nothing was done. It still is, and it's still not being done to stop the spread of this thing over there. Or it's just unjust what's going on there. But let me get back to my point. So yes, there are people who are not doing what they recommend, but what the mayor is saying, even in your family. And as I said, the news is part of the media is part of this whole thing about where, that's basically painting this picture. And yes, like I said, I admit to it, there are people who are not abiding by this, and I see it outside all the time. But some of the videos they show was ridiculous, because there were one video from Fox 5 News here in New York, Fox 5 NY. They showed a video of 3 couples sitting like apart from each other. It could have been 6 feet or even more than that, but they were sitting apart. And then they had like a single guy by himself, and he was like, if the 2 couples are right here, he was in the middle of them, but he was like 6 feet back, but in the middle. But they're talking about how the people are still, not socially distancing themselves. Are you telling me a couple that's together, probably live in the same house, probably even they could be married, who knows? They living in the same house, having sex, Netflixing and chilling. You're going to tell me they're together on each other, but yet when they come in public, they should still be 6 feet apart? Is that what you're trying to tell me, Mr. Mayor? Who I believe is like the worst mayor since I have stepped foot in this country from 1994. This mayor is just delusional. So the thing that people who sleeping in the same bed and all that stuff will have to be 6 feet away from each other outside. Are you telling me when I go outside with my kids, I have to be 6 feet away from them? I have to be 6 feet away from my 5-year-old, from my 1-year-old. You must be crazy. I must be 6 feet away from the woman I share a bed with, and still continue to share a bed with. People are having sex, and I see that the New York State released new guidelines for safe sex during this outbreak. The condoms can't help you. You're gonna have people wearing hazmat suits having sex? Because I don't know any other way. Excuse me again. I don't know any other way. So, and there was also another video they showed of a group of like 4 or 5 of them in a group sitting on this rock, and they have a dog with them, and they're talking, and they're talking about, friends hanging out. Did you even? I didn't see no interview with you asking them if they're friends. They could have been relatives. They could have been a husband and wife and cousin and whatever. They probably even live in the same house. You do not know that. You could live in the same place. And I don't understand if the group of people who are already practicing, who's already in contact with each other, they could have, being separated when you're outside. That don't make no sense. If you're already in contact with each other, the point of separating makes no sense. Because you still separate, and then you're in the house and you're together on the couch watching the TV. You don't know. You didn't interview them, but you putting them down as friends. That's why I said the media is also part of the spin in this whole thing. Also, the politicians, the government, and the media is also the ones that makes these young folks feel like they're invincible from this thing. Because you reported that young people are not really affected by this. It's people 70 older, 15 older, or people with underlying issues. And you tell them to stay away. And they probably are staying away from the elder ones, but they feel like, hey, nothing's gonna happen to me. I'm invincible. You should have known this when you said this, when you came out with this. You know how young people think. A lot of you have kids. You know how your kids feel like invincible. Kids feel like from since you're a little kid, you feel invincible. You could do anything. That's how kids think. That's the mentality of young folks. I mean, I had that mentality up until my mid-20s. I felt like I was invincible. Like I could do anything and nothing is going to happen to me. So you put it out there, and then now you're trying to say, well, even though you're going to have mild symptoms, you shouldn't feel like you're invincible. Too late. Young people already feel invincible. They already feel invincible. What do you think was going to happen? You should have had something in place for that already. And all your, sending police to break it up, it's not going to do nothing. They may break it up outside, but people still play basketball in their backyards. People are going over to their friend's house, playing a video game, hanging out, drinking beers. You're not really, you're just stopping it in the public as much as you can, but police can't be everywhere because even the police is coming down with this thing. So the cops can't be everywhere to break everything up. And it's not just the young folks, and that's what I don't like. They're making it seem like it's just young folks, because around in my neighborhood here in the Bronx, I see the old folks are doing it too. They're bunched up at the fruit stands, mixed up with the young folks, bunched up, no distancing. I've seen them in the corner hanging out, drinking and smoking or having their conversations. No social distancing. I see. A relative of mine said in Brooklyn that the same things are happening. People are having their house parties and all that stuff. How are you going to tell someone how much distance they can have in their homes? You're not going to be able to tell them. When they're still inviting friends over, some people just don't care. Some people just feel like they're going to live their lives no matter what is going to happen. And, the thing is, there's this motto I've been hearing for years in this country, especially when it comes to terrorism, and I don't even want to touch that point. But for terrorism, we tell people you can't live in fear. You shouldn't be afraid to go out. You shouldn't be afraid of this or any of this and that. So people in America have this mentality that they're not going to live in fear already. A lot of people they're not going to live in fear. They're still going to go out and do whatever, no matter what's going on. Some people feel this is just blown out of proportion. And I'm hearing chatter right now that some people believe that, this is a conspiracy that, but I don't know about the conspiracy. I'm not a guy who believes in all this conspiracy. Even though I believe some things are, I just don't believe everything is. And I'm not a person that jumps to conspiracy. But the chatter I'm hearing is that this is what the government want so they can have more power. Because they can use this to pass laws to take more power over the people. And, who knows if this will be our new way of life? Who knows some of these things they pass will continue even after this stuff even happen, even after this, or if when this is all over and done with, if things will ever go back to the way it is. Because they're passing rules left and right. Who knows if these things will actually stick around? And if it does, it'll be all true what everybody is speculating. And that's why a lot of people, and they try to make it seem like everybody's afraid when a lot of us are not. Majority of people are not afraid. Are not afraid. I know old people who are not afraid. I know someone who's even still going around their grandmother because that grandparent don't care about anything. That grandparent already have underlying issues and figure, hey, wait, what the hell? I'm going to die. If this don't kill me, something else will. One of my health issues will, or that will kill me. It doesn't really matter to me. Some people have that thinking. So don't make it feel, the media making it seem like it's only young folks is not caring, but it's a lot of people. Now, I think they say, I think they say 20% of the young folks are being hospitalized. I think that's what I heard in the news. Is either hospitalized or getting it as much as the amount of, or hospitalized as much as the 70 and above. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to find that report, but I couldn't find it. I'm not really sure about the numbers, but it's up there and it's going to be up there. And the thing is, you can't take these numbers that are coming out confirmed as it being spread. This could have been these people could have had this for a while and not know it. And it's now that the more the testing is going on, you see how widespread this thing already is. So no one really knows. We really don't know. I wasn't really intending for this video to even be this long. But, I just have to give my opinion real quick. It was not even that quick. And I'm going to read the numbers here. As I said before, it's in New York State, it's over 20,000. Countrywide is over 39,000. New York has more than 50% of the entire country's confirmed cases of this outbreak. Now I'm going to read you, I'm going to put a graphic up here so you can see a chart of what's going on so far. I'm just going to read the boroughs. So in the 5 boroughs we have in the Bronx, 1,829 cases, which is 15%. I don't know if that's 15% of the total cases in the city. Yes, that's 15% of the total cases in the city. As I said before, I wasn't really sure when they say the city, because certain things, when they say the city, they mean just Manhattan, and then sometimes they mean the 5 boroughs. So it's kind of hard sometimes for me to decipher what they're talking about. But from what I'm seeing here, like I said, in the Bronx, 1,829, 15% of the total numbers in the city, in the 5 boroughs. Brooklyn has 3,494, which is 28%. Manhattan has 2,572, which is 21%. Queens now took the lead over Brooklyn with 3,621 with 29%. Staten Island, 817, which is 7%. And we have 6 unknown. I don't know unknown of what or confirm. I don't know why they put unknown there. And then we have 99 deaths within the 5 boroughs. And then the rest would be, I guess, from Westchester and the other counties. So that's how it's being done. Now the mayor did say, this crap of a mayor we have, he said by the end of this week he expected to get to 37,000. So like I said, I don't know if school is gonna open April 20th. Right now the outlook on that doesn't seem possible, or something that's going to actually happen. And like I said, today this remote class thing started. Not every student have it, because certain students don't even have access to a laptop or whatever. Lucky for my son's school, they give them Chromebooks, which is very good for him to do his basic. He does his remote class. He also I also let him do his ABC mouse on there, and being at his touch screen is much easier for him. I mean, I have a touchscreen laptop, but he couldn't do the ABC mouse here. He used my phone because there's a lag in my laptop. My laptop is very old, so yeah. So I just want to give an update on what's really going on and my opinions on this whole, the mayor going to enforce things. You can't be everywhere. Police can't be everywhere. So I don't know how he planned to enforce it, because there's people, like I said, still doing things, playing ball in their backyards or in their yards and whatever. the cops gonna come in someone's property and tell them what they can and can't do? You gonna tell them what they can and can't do in their home? You gonna come in there, well, no sex, stay away. You go in one room, you go in room, and the other room. I don't know how that's gonna work. I just think this mayor sometimes say some foolish things. And I understand, he could close the parks down and all that stuff to prevent people from doing that. Like, you can't go in the parks, but people still gonna be hanging out in the streets, in their neighborhoods, in their homes. So, and then people still going to be going in contact with each other in the supermarkets, in the stores. People still going to be in contact with each other. And who knows, like I said, this thing could have already been widespread. They were just now finding out with these numbers as the testing as more testing is being done. That's all this is. That's all this is. And a lot of this stuff could have been prevented a long time ago, but like I said, they waited, and this is what happens when you don't take charge right away. Please like, share, subscribe, leave your comments down below. Don't forget to hit that bell icon. I'm Drew, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.